Buck Sexton.
Consensus is not science. Everyone who actually thinks through this themselves and doesn't just allow their brains to be molded by being stuck at home, being on the social media all the time. The panic porn on cable news channels in general was mind-blowing.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, inspired by Rush. Debuting June 21st.
Weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, the voice of Northern Utah.
KVNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry. A 20-year-old man from Perry, already accused of sexually abusing teenage girls and women in 2 cases, now faces numerous additional charges after the Utah Attorney General's office identified 7 more alleged victims. Brandon Brailsford remains in the Cache County Jail since being arrested March 16th. Brailsford was charged last week with 4 counts of rape, forcible sodomy, aggravated kidnapping, and 4 counts of rape, plus 3 counts of forcible sexual abuse and 2 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. On March 8th, Brailsford was also charged in Box Elder County with rape, object rape, and forcible sodomy. Just 9 days later, he was charged in Cache County with enticing a minor by text, unlawful sexual activity with a minor, and witness tampering. All those charges are felonies. In the latest charging documents, the Utah Attorney General's office wrote, with the filing of this criminal information, the defendant, in 3 separate criminal filings in 2 separate counties, stands accused of multiple criminal sexual acts from at least 9 different females, 6 of which were minors at the time of their alleged sexual assaults. The assaults reportedly occurred from July 2017 through February of this year, with the victims ranging in ages from 14 to 21. Brailsford was between the ages of 16 and 19 at the time of the alleged assaults. Last month on KBNU's For the People program, a UDOT spokesperson said the project to improve SR 30, the Valley View Highway, is moving along, although it's slow because of environmental studies. On the For the People program this past Wednesday, Cache County Executive David Zook said with continued growth, transportation, including improvement to roads and highways, is vital.
That's an important project. I've actually been working on that project since before I came into this position through some other positions. It's really critical to our valley. We don't have very many roads in and out of our valley.
Sure.
And that's really going toward the Wasatch Front. That's one of really only 2 ways to get out of here. So
yeah.
It needs to be safe. It really needs to be wider the whole distance. We're not getting exactly what we wanted on that project, but we're going to keep pushing to get the full width all the way through.
He said another project he's been working on is 4400 South. It goes through mostly unincorporated areas between Hiram and Nibley, and right now it doesn't connect between SR 165 and Highway 8991.
But we'd like to make it connect, and we'd like to get UDOT to turn it into the new 101. So we've been talking to them.
That's
we actually got them to do a study, which is ongoing right now, because there are literally hundreds of trucks coming in and out of that area right now. It's where JBS's plant is.
Yeah.
It's where the West Point Dairy plant is. And those trucks don't really have a good way in and out of there. And that's kind of how the conversation started.
In other county news, the county is building a new Public Works County Fire District facility in Hiram, and a ribbon cutting will be held for that this next Tuesday morning at 11 at 1020 East, 600 North, just east of SR 165. The public is invited to that. A middle school cheerleading program in Utah has received criticism after a student with Down syndrome who was working as the team manager was excluded from an official team portrait this year. The Salt Lake Tribune reported Wednesday that the Shoreline Junior high school cheerleading squad took 2 official team portraits, one photo with 14-year-old Morgan Arnold and another photo without her. The latter photo is used on social media and in the yearbook. Her older sister, Jordan Paul, says she believes the decision was made because of her sister's disability. Shoreline Junior High posted an apology on its Facebook page, but the page was later hidden or deleted. KBNU weather for tonight, mostly cloudy skies, low around 60. Partly cloudy in the morning tomorrow, then clearing, high temperature in the mid-90s. Weather brought to you by the Duct Hunter. With your AC working hard, now's the perfect time to call the Duct Hunter to get your ducts free of dust. Call 770-4813. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Make laundry a snap with the large load washers and dryers at Mount Logan Laundry. Rather than 8 to 10 loads at home, get the job done in 1 or 2 with their 55 or 80-pound washers and 80-pound dryers that are perfect for sleeping bags, comforters, and other big items. Mount Logan Laundry has free Wi-Fi and drop-off service, plus they're open until midnight. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town. Find them at 5th East and 9th North in Logan or in Brigham City on the corner of 1st East and 7th South.
Local news and the best talk. News Talk KVNU.
Oh, little piggy, let me in or I'll blow this building down.
Nice try, Wolfie, but this here building's made from steel.
All right then, here goes. Gosh, that didn't work.
A building from Northern Steel Buildings will keep out the big bad wolf, and they don't break the piggy bank. Visit northernsteelbuildings.com to see their quality work or call 435-677-7300. Northern Steel Buildings. Value from concept to construction.
Connect. It's what we do and where we go. We connect with people at home or at work, online or in person. Everyone needs connecting. At CBTD, we are committed to helping our community connect by providing a service for you, a service that gives some the independence that they otherwise might not have. Our employees are here to connect you with the people and places that matter most through our services and through our values. Learn more at cbtdbus.org.
You've talked about it for years.
Someday, I want to take down those trees, build a gazebo, and plant a garden.
For you, that someday is today.
Whole Tree Care is who Cache Valley trusts to prune, shape, and remove trees. Nobody has more experience. Fruit trees, dead trees, overgrown trees. Call Whole Tree Care. 760-6587. Ask about a radio discount. Whole Tree Care. 760-6587. Online at wholetreecare.com.
You shine a spotlight on something that's cool enough to turn your head. Here's the truck that will turn your head on the road if it hasn't already. It's the 2021 Ram 1500, and now's the time to buy. Call it the Ram Spotlight Sales Event all month at Heritage. Save up to $3,500 on 2021 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year, 3 years running. No big deal, but actually it is a big deal at Heritage, your hometown dealer with the biggest deals.
Heritage Auto Group, Heritage, it's what drives our future.
It's the little old lady from Pasadena. The little old lady from Pasadena has a pretty little flower bed of white gardenia.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Hour 2 of today's show. It is Friday, June 18th. Time for the For the People movie show with Andy Morgan of AndyAtTheMovies.com. He'll be joining us here in just a bit. And we do have quite a bit to talk about. Some new movies in theaters. A lot of new stuff hitting the streaming services of not just today, but recently that we can talk about. Be interesting to talk about the popularity of, the excitement for, and then almost predictably the backlash to one of the biggest openers so far since movie theaters are back, called In the Heights. This is a musical that has a lot of familiar names for those who are fans of Hamilton, especially, but also some familiar names from Broadway shows in general. It's a big hit with audiences. Critics are giving it at least partial thumbs up to full thumbs up. And now there's this weird backlash. So we'll talk about that a little bit as well. A listener requested topic. A listener wanted us to talk today about what has slipped through the cracks. A listener specifically referencing 2020 and all the movies that, as Andy has said many times here on the show, there was no PR machine. So, and then with theaters closed, at least for a long time, and then even longer in certain areas. And even when they reopened in June of 2020 in most places, there wasn't really anything other than old classics for them to show. So people just kind of wrote all of that out of their daily consideration for the most part, or weekend entertainment consideration. And so a lot of movies that were planned didn't get heard of in the first place. Some movies that still came out didn't get heard of. And in general, so you have this year gap in even the most dedicated of film fans' memory. So a listener said, can you fill in the gaps for us? What was canceled? What was postponed production-wise and will therefore be postponed release date-wise? We've covered here on the show some of the release dates that we know of so far, the calendar really having finally taken shape for the summer and early fall movie seasons here in 2021. But what's still on hold for 2022? What movies were in production and that got paused, so we now might not see them? Listener says, I feel out of the loop. I'm usually in the loop with movies. Can you bring us all up to speed today? So, challenge accepted. I'm accepting that on Andy's behalf. When he gets here, I'll let him know I've accepted that challenge. And we'll talk about that. What did you miss? So, on the streaming services, one thing to talk about, just because it's topping basically every rating, audience rating, and critic rating site out there. It's at the top, and it's a series on Netflix, and it's odd. I watched episode 1. I haven't had a chance or time to go beyond that yet, but it is... I would put it this way. You're going to start this series called Sweet Tooth on Netflix, and in the first few minutes, your eyebrows will raise. You will raise just one eyebrow sometimes. You'll wonder, or you'll think to yourself, what is going on here? And before you know it, you're going to be sucked into this story and these characters, and it's going to be hard for you, as it has been for me this week since watching that first episode in preparation for today's movie show. It's going to be hard for you to step away from it, to not just binge watch the entire thing. The show, again, is called Sweet Tooth. It's a series on Netflix based on a popular young adult series, and you're going to maybe want to laugh to yourself as I spell out the general plot. And this is spoiler free. There's a lot more going on here. This is the general plot. The general plot is that 10 years ago, something called the Great Crumble happened. It wreaked havoc throughout the world. It was viral. And interestingly enough, this book series was actually published before 2020, at least the first one was. So very 2020 pandemic themed, but actually published before that. So this viral apocalypse happens. It's called the Great Crumble, wreaks havoc throughout the world, devastates society in many ways, but leaving most people alive, but changed. And the first batch of babies, after this viral storm sweeps the globe, are called hybrids. And they're called hybrids because they are part human and part animal. As of the first episode, at least, no explanation is offered for why this happens. And I kind of like that, actually. Rather than getting into some hokey, made-up science, they just say, here's what happened. Suspend your disbelief and run with us. That makes a show fun, I think. The show deals with themes of insiders and outsiders, fear of others, fear of people who are different than us. And there's this unspoken element behind it all that part of the lack of explanation for the part human, part animal babies that are born after the Great Crumble viral pandemic wipes out a good chunk of humanity, you get the sense there's a reason. That this isn't just some random thing, and that it has to do with some of the other themes. So the story begins in episode 1 with a boy and his father living in a cabin in the woods, a forest home in the middle of nowhere. There are some rules the father is imposed. Don't go beyond certain boundaries. Don't do certain things that make noise. Never burn a fire in the daytime, etc., etc. It's very obvious the father is training his son to stay alive and that there is a risk or a threat out there somewhere. And then the story begins to play out around that. So, again, what I've liked about it so far is, well, the characters are great. The premise is weird but also really engaging. And then this mystery, I guess, that develops. What is it they're hiding from? Where did these hybrids come from? Why are our babies born post the Great Crumble all hybrids? And how do the themes of xenophobia, fear of others, fear of those who are different than us, groups of humans hunting them down without really not understanding why they even have been raised and taught to hate these hybrids, all of that playing out around this kind of mystery of what are the hybrids here for in the first place? Again, you get the sense there is a reason. Hasn't been revealed yet, and I'm only one episode in, admittedly. But I'd recommend you check it out. Again, it's called Sweet Tooth. It's on Netflix. In preparation for today's show, I made it through, I had time to make it through only episode 1 of season 1 on Netflix. But I'm hooked, and as soon as I get time this weekend, I plan to get back to it. So, speaking of getting back to it, we will get back to this episode of the For the People Movie Show with Andy Morgan of AndyAtTheMovies.com joining me here in the studio now right after this.
The Cove, active adult community in Hyde Park, is one of Cache Valley's premier 55-plus communities. Visionary Homes created The Cove with easy living and knowing your neighbors in mind, along with low-maintenance yards, snow removal, a pickleball court, and picnic area for active senior adults. You'll love your brand-new home and your surroundings in The Cove by Visionary Homes. Act soon, only a few home sites remain. Visionary Homes understands what you want in a home. Visit buildwithvisionary.com for more information. Built for living, built for you.
Pristine wilderness can still be found in the West, where creeks run freely and historic apple trees still bear fruit. Maple Creek Ranch features breathtaking canyon views and opportunities for real estate development. 2.5-acre lots are now available with adjacent wilderness areas that provide endless riding and recreational possibilities. So find your piece of paradise just 35 minutes from Logan at Maple Creek Ranch. Schedule your appointment online at maplecreekranch.net.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. After the U.S. avoided one housing crisis during the pandemic, another one may be looming post-pandemic. We'll explain the potential for foreclosures and evictions. Plus, more pushback from workers over companies mandating that they get vaccines. Hear the push and pull. And getting a job when you're being interviewed by a machine. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. Monday morning from 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news, weather, and sports.
Hey, guys. Oh, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.
Welcome back to the For the People Movie Show here on KVNU's For the People with Andy Morgan of AndyAtTheMovies.com. Joining us here in the studio now. And Andy, you heard, as you were making your way into the studio here, you heard my little plug for at least the first episode of Sweet Tooth. I'm intrigued by the story, the characters, the mystery of where these hybrids even come from, the themes of xenophobia and fear.
It's in 4K on Netflix.
Yeah, it's actually beautiful to see. But
you know what's funny about...
I'm intrigued by it.
So when I saw this Sweet Tooth pop up...
Oh, I saw the trailer and thought, eh?
I hadn't seen the trailer yet, but I saw the little thumbnail, and this just shows what a kind of a book nerd I am as well. Because I was like, oh, Sweet Tooth, that's the novel by Ian McEwan. I can't even think of the guy's name.
I couldn't remember his name either. You
know what I'm talking
first
about,
segment,
right?
Yeah.
The guy that wrote Atonement and Harry Potter. Anyway, I'm just waiting for somebody's like, I don't think that's accurate. I like to just throw wild facts out.
Harry Potter and the...
Harry Potter.
It was the book that kind of flew under the radar.
It was a Thanksgiving short story.
Yeah.
It was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, I think is what it was.
Harry Potter and the
Goblet on
tipped
Fire.
over shovel.
That's what it was. It was Harry Potter and the Goblet on Fire. It was like they had a cook. You know what? Wow.
Harry Potter and the squeaky door handle.
It's apparently...
We could do this all day.
Super, super... I actually put
Harry
myself
Potter
out
and the
there.
jam stapler.
I put myself out
there. That was
there.
my favorite book.
Anybody that wants to hire me, I can come up with domain names on the fly that will bring your money, your business, tons of money.
I think you need an Instagram account where you're literally just doing Harry Potter books that no one heard of.
With art.
With art, yeah, full on cover art and everything.
But I do it with stick figures.
I think you could monetize that.
That
probably.
Is magical.
With your sense of humor and your art skills when it comes to stick figures, I think
it is hard to equate. It is hard to match my stick figure art mastery. So I hate to
Harry Potter and the long week at work.
That's right.
I mean, you could just
Harry Potter.
Anything would work.
And the move from sweatpants to pants.
There's also known as the end of the pandemic.
there's a commercial. I don't know who runs it. I don't know what brand it is, but it cracks me up every time. It's basically people moving from sweatpants to pants, and then kind of look in the mirror like, "Aw." And it's true. It's really true. Like I at one point in the pandemic, I was like, I don't feel like I'm gaining weight, and then I moved from stretchy pants to normal pants, and I was like, maybe not. No, it happened.
It's kind of weird. I didn't expect this. I own. So when everything went down in March of 2020, there's part of me in my head I was looking in the mirror one day and I said, I like the progress I've made over the last couple of years, but the pandemic just started. I'm working from home. I'm spending a lot of time at home. I know I lack the discipline. Let's just own being fat. And I had. And then ironically, what happened is the boredom, boredom's the wrong word, the cabin fever that you feel on Thursday of a week of working at home, even with the excuse most weeks to get out here into the studio because we could do that in a safe way. I'd come in here and not see another person for days at a time sometimes because we're all here at different times. Even with that, I would still get this cabin fever would build up, and that started to kind of produce itself in excess energy, and I don't know. I became accidentally active. So I actually had a good year as far as health goes. Not diet. Be very clear. Exercise, good year. Not a diet, good year.
I think it was, for me, it was the first half.
So, in fact, I think I'm just equalizing, really. The exercise and the diet are just this healthy tension between the two right now. I'm curious to see who wins.
Can we make bets?
I think we should. I thought about.
Is there a Vegas line?
I thought about setting up a Vegas book.
I've got Jason's exercise.
Where's this gonna go?
At
Washboard stomach or TLC episode?
Hey, I was going to say something. You had mentioned something during the break, and I think this is actually a great segue. And you can let me know when you want to carve some time out for this. But you said that somebody had asked, what movies have been delayed?
Yeah. The listener emailed in and basically said, I feel out of the loop. I'm usually pretty in the loop on movies, but I feel out of the loop because 2020, just as far as I was concerned, at least, just nothing was happening. Theaters were shut down. Nothing coming out that piqued my interest other than the Christopher Nolan movie he mentions. And so he said, I kind of just forgot about movies for 12 months.
Yeah.
Now they're back. He says he heard us talking about the summer movie calendar, so he has an idea of what's on the recent calendar, but he said surely some films were delayed. And he references one, actually, that we talked about 2 weeks ago, Dune, which was scheduled for October of last year, postponed 8 times until finally October of this year it comes out. And he said, I didn't even know this was happening because it's not getting the fanfare it would normally get heading into a big premiere.
Yep.
So he said, can you fill us in? What's coming in 2022? What was delayed by 2020? What was maybe canceled entirely?
I can tell you people that were canceled entirely.
There were a few.
I can't tell you. No. There's a few movies we can talk about. I won't be able to exactly tell you movies that were delayed because I think what happened with delayed is it wasn't really delayed. Like if a movie was scheduled to come out in 2021 or 2022, especially late 2021, those movies are still on track. They might have been slowed a little bit with the initial parts, before they set up. Just kind of how businesses work.
Okay.
That's the weirdest thing that just came out of my mouth. Where they had to set up COVID protocols and say, okay, everybody, we got to get tested. We have all these things that are, we got to clean. We've got to. I wonder how many businesses actually opened up in 2020 that were like
new businesses,
cleaning businesses. With for COVID protocol.
I know a lot of.
Have you seen the new movie coming out called COVID Protocol? It's Mission Impossible 8 COVID Protocol.
Mission Impossible.
I'm sorry,
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter and the COVID Protocol.
See, it works.
I'm sorry.
J.K. Rowling we should be getting some kind of royalty check.
It really should. Here's one movie that everyone has been asking me about so going back to your thing, let me kind of balance this with two ways because I think. This balances with something that I wanted to talk about earlier.
Are you going to die?
I might die.
This happens to me, so I fully sympathize.
I might die.
It's always mid-sentence When
yeah, when the hairball comes in.
Yeah.
No, what I was going to say was, if you look at what's in theaters today. So let me segue from this to the other question. I mean, you've got almost every movie is an active, brand new, blockbuster-esque movie. I mean, you look at what's playing in the Providence Stadium 8, The Quiet Place Part 2, it's done really well. Cruella, they've got In the Heights, that's also on HBO Max.
The Conjuring 3.
Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway. I know you guys have been waiting for that. They actually have a funny movie poster. It says in theaters, finally.
Does it really?
Yeah, it does.
I like that.
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. We talked about that a few weeks ago. That's also on HBO Max. The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which is a sequel to The Hitman's Bodyguard, which was actually almost made me hate Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds.
I remember you were
slightly more than I. Here's my one sentence review for that movie. If you wanted to be more annoyed than you were the first time,
see this movie.
You're in luck.
It's kind of how I feel about every Fast and Furious after the second one.
I don't know, Jason. Does that sound like
would you
Vin
like
Diesel?
to
Vin's Diesel?
Would you like to find Vin Diesel even more annoying? See this movie. And I liked him at first, but
those same movies are also playing it in the
university.
The university state. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's going on. Really quick though, on this whole, because I want to talk about something on the other half of the show, because this summer is a 40-year anniversary of something that is one of the greatest things to ever happen.
Oh yeah.
And also something that might make people excited for next summer. But one of the movies that everybody asks me about is they say, "Yo, man," just like that.
Just like that.
"Yo, man, when's Top Gun coming out? When's Top Gun 2 coming out?"
What was the original?
July. It was like going to be like an Independence Day release.
Okay. Of last summer, right?
Yeah. They're like planes,
and
Tom
then,
Cruise. What gets more American than that?
And
right?
then I got suspicious because last summer they didn't really announce cancellation of release date. They just kind of went.
They postponed
what
it.
Movie?
Yeah.
Where are you hearing of this movie? Well, from you, sir.
Yeah.
You said you had a movie.
They postponed it from Independence Day weekend, right? Like up until the buzzer. You know what I mean? Like it was and then they said, okay, December, which doesn't really fit.
Yeah, bad time for a. Top Gun
it's funny
sequel.
though because I actually saw.
Not that there's a good time for a Top Gun sequel, really.
No, I did. I saw the first Top Gun. I saw that in theaters in December of, I'm going to say, 1985, and the reason I saw it then was that was back when movies played for like a year.
Yeah, remember that?
E.T. was in theaters for a year.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi too, wasn't it?
Yeah, all those movies were. Yeah, Top Gun came out, I believe, in either May or June of '85, and then it just kept playing.
And it came back because it had a second summer drive-in theater run.
It was the worst. That is the most uncomfortable I've ever been in a movie ever.
Really?
It was PG-13. There's really there's no nudity in Top Gun.
Some really suggestive
dudes
silhouettes
in their tidy whities is offensive to you,
Yeah.
or beach volleyball,
Sweaty volleyball.
in your sweaty Levi's. I bet that was a fun smell.
I never
there.
understood that. Who goes to the beach?
Nobody plays in Levi's,
yeah.
unless you're a Levi's model.
Yeah, I don't. That was just unbelievable costuming.
That was. But no,
no. I remember at the young age. I remember the silhouettes.
Yeah, the silhouettes
at the young age,
with
and my parents were very
Kelly
uncomfortable.
McGillis and Tom Cruise, and they're kissing or whatever. And
But
I was at the theater with my grandma.
I would describe it
all
as
people.
graphic kissing.
It's graphic kissing. That actually was in the little line. It said rated PG-13 for
Graphic
kissing.
Because you could be misled. If
GK.
you've never seen Top Gun and someone just said, "Oh, there's a kissing scene," and that's it, most parents would be like, "Oh, that's fine.
It's not a big deal."
No, this is it's silhouettes, so it's done
terrible,
tastefully, I guess. But I mean, it's not just a kissing scene.
No,
even though that's all you're seeing. And so I remember that for PG-13, I remember a lot of people talking about how like at the time, like, oh, are we already pushing the boundaries of PG-13?
I just remember my grandma leaned over and said, "That never mind." Anyway, there was a.
Did you cover your eyes?
No, I just remember sitting next to my grandma going, "This is. I don't like this."
Did I tell you the story about a friend of mine who his younger cousin wanted to see Hot Tub Time Machine? Huh. And so he said, "Okay, I'll take you. I'll be your parent guardian." And then at the last moment, his younger cousin's mom, this person's aunt, said, "I'll go with you. That guy from The Office is funny." And so this poor kid saw it with his mom, and yeah.
That's funny. So getting back to that. How
uncomfortable would that be?
They have moved this movie again. So it obviously didn't come out last December. People aren't like, wait, did I miss it? So this is actually coming out this November, Thanksgiving-ish. So
really?
November 19th, 2021, you will be able to go see
Top
Gun
2.
It's actually Top Gun Maverick. And if you watch the trailer, I think this is the pattern in Hollywood now. They're like, let's take the blueprint of the first Top Gun, but let's put new people in and faster planes.
Yeah, it worked for Star Wars.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, really?
No, it did. One other movie I wanted to talk about. There's actually quite a few. We can keep going on this. I know we have to take a break here in a second.
Yeah, we should go to the news.
But one other one.
Really quick, before we move on from Top Gun, why not now? Why November?
I'll be honest with you. It's
a summer movie.
If I had a summer movie right now and I was worried, because let's be honest, even though Quiet Place 2 did well, it didn't do as well as it would have 2 years ago in 2019.
I see what you're saying.
So with Top Gun, what I would probably do, in my opinion, is I wouldn't have released it in July. I would have still waited until things kind of settle down with theaters and people feel more comfortable. So I think I would be targeting. I wouldn't postpone my movie for another year, but I would target my movie for either the Thanksgiving holiday or the Christmas holiday. I think those are your two best bets if you want to get the most for your money right now. I don't think the summer is. We're going to see some good stuff in the summer. We're going to see some nice returns. There's going to be movies coming out regularly, but I think
you think there's still enough hesitancy out there to.
I think some people are waiting to see what happens with Black Widow, that's coming out in July, and Guardians of the Galaxy in August. You know what I mean?
For some
reason, that's
reason,
too late. You get And Top Gun can't just move up either. I mean, they're in the November window now.
I just feel like a July 4th Top Gun Maverick release is a missed opportunity because I think a lot can change in a few weeks. I think that could be a movie that finally kind of bursts the whatever is holding people. I think a lot of people are still waiting to see where vaccine rates go in their state of choice.
But it's
but
weird.
I also think a lot of people are just. They're vaccinated. They understand the science. They realize they're safe to go do something like go to a movie.
Do you think people?
And they're just not ready.
Because
it's an adjustment period.
Well, and I don't know how it is outside of Utah, but in Utah, you're not required to wear a mask in the theater.
No.
If you're vaccinated, you're good to go. I don't even think it says you have to wear a mask even if you're not vaccinated.
Yeah, I don't think they're requiring it anywhere right now. But
now, and I know I don't. The seating isn't packed together. At least last time I was in a theater with a bunch of people.
No, I saw The Conjuring 3 with, I think, 2 other people way down in front.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly think, I wonder if people are feeling like they're going to be inconvenienced, if it's just they're out of habit. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I really don't, because look at you saw the Vivint Arena.
Yeah, packed.
Two nights ago.
Yeah.
That's 18,000 people, squished together. So, and here's the thing. I don't want to hear
That's why I feel like Top Gun could be the movie that finally gets things rolling.
And
again.
if that's the case, let's be
Black
honest.
Black Widow could be too.
Well, then that's actually probably another reason they're not going that window, is because
they want to compete.
You don't want to schedule against another blockbuster. But Top Gun is, they've committed to that. One other one, just really quick before we go to the break. There's a movie that I think you would be really interested in. I saw this trailer like 3 years ago. It was supposed to come out in April 17 of 2020. It's called Antlers. It's directed by Scott Cooper, who is not a big name, but he did. What's the movie with Jeff Bridges where he's the aging, country western singer? I can't.
Which was good.
Anyway,
I can't remember either.
It's got Kerry Russell. It looks really good. When this came out, I thought this is a creepy movie, right? This is a creepy movie.
Yeah.
And I thought, why would they move this? Why would they have this in April of 2020? This is like a October movie, and thankfully, COVID apparently smacked them in the face and made them right, because now this is releasing on October 29th, 2021, which is perfect. So
really,
yeah. So for all
that's actually a good idea.
Yeah. So for people that wanted to know about Top Gun Maverick, that's November 19th. Antlers, if you're a fan of horror, that was a movie that was postponed. That comes out in October of 2021. So write that down. I have a bunch more I can tell you when we come back.
We'll do that.
And then I also, like I said, the last part of the show, I really want to talk about one of the greatest things that ever happened to me 40 years ago, and probably to everyone that's listening today.
The mystery 40th anniversary.
The mystery 40th anniversary.
This is
of the
really,
never-ending story. Just kidding.
Really quick. Oh, man, I have a never-ending story 2 story to tell you. I'll tell you during the break. Listeners won't care. For those, speaking of Antlers, really quick, I wanted to mention this because I saw the trailer for Antlers and I thought of this. If you like horror movies, if you like this style of horror movie, read the book and see the movie The Ritual, which is on Netflix. And the author's name is Adam Neville. The most scared I've ever been. Yeah, Harry Potter and the very scary book. That's the most scared I've ever been during a novel.
Really?
Yeah, I read horror novels a lot, but I would rarely describe. I mean, reading isn't I surprised myself.
Well, you flip the pages a little more tenser.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
it's not like you hide in the closet.
And maybe your breath quickens, maybe, but I don't know. You don't jump usually during a book. The Ritual. There are a couple sentences in this book that actually made me freeze, sort of. Anyway, very scary book. The movie's not as scary, but still good. And just tack that on to
by
the end
Adam Neville.
Adam Neville is his name.
I just put that in my Amazon.
It's a good. I haven't read any of his other stuff, but yeah. So if you're interested in Antlers, that as Andy mentioned is coming soon, see the Ritual that you can see now.
Is that what it's based on?
No, but it's a similar theme. Yeah. So
all right.
Lost in the Woods of Switzerland.
Oh.
We'll be back with more of the For the People movie show right after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News brought to you by U&I Furniture. The Friday report from the Utah Department of Health included 325 new cases of the coronavirus since Thursday. For the third straight day, the new statewide total of cases surpassed the current 7-day average of 296 cases a day. Bear River Health District reported 16 new positives, which leads to a total of 22,172 cases since the start of the pandemic. The total number of coronavirus cases in the state is now 411,071 in Utah over the course of the pandemic. In Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties, the total is 22,172. of which 21,862 have been declared recovered. The number of Utahns now fully vaccinated, over 1.33 million. For the first time since the start of the pandemic, inmates will be allowed to receive in-person visits at the Utah State Prison in Draper. Fox 13 reports visitations were to resume today at the prison and the Central Utah Correctional Facility in Gunnison. According to the Utah Department of Corrections, each inmate allowed one 40-minute in-person visit each month or one 30-minute tablet visit. Up to 2 visitors will be allowed during each visit. And a utility proposes to build 6 wind farms that could supply enough electricity for over 1 million homes in Wyoming and other states by 2024. Portland, Oregon-based PacifiCorp announced the plan this week. The wind farms would add more than 1,600 megawatts of power capacity in Wyoming, combined with PacifiCorp's plans for solar, battery power, and transmission proposals. The utility would add 3,200 megawatts of capacity. PacifiCorp is not saying yet where specifically the projects will be built. The Casper Star Tribune reports the proposals would concentrate wind development in Wyoming and Idaho and solar and battery developments in Utah and Oregon. KVNU weather brought to you by Polylift. Attention homeowners, you may have noticed the ground shift after your foundation's been poured, causing your house to sink or settle. Protect your investment from issues before they happen. Polylift concrete raising and piering will stabilize, lift, and eliminate further settling by using Magnum piering products to save you big money down the road. Polylift concrete raising and piering are the foundation lifting experts. Visit poly-lift.com to schedule your free assessment or call or text 435-999-9309. Polylift is locally owned and operated. Mostly cloudy tonight, low around 60, and then partly cloudy and then clearing on Saturday. High temperature in the mid-90s, and then sunny around 90 on Sunday with some northwest winds 10 to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
UNI Furniture just acquired an entire showroom of furniture from the Las Vegas Furniture Market. Best Furniture, an American-made furniture company, delivered to UNI sectionals, sofas, recliners, lift chairs, accent chairs, ottomans, benches, and a whole lot more. These are one-time deals that will not be repeated, so shop early for the best selection. It really is just another reason that you'll always find a better buy at UNI Furniture. UNI Furniture, 28 West, 1st North in downtown Logan.
Smash.
Welcome back to the For the People Movie Show with Andy Morgan of AndyAtTheMovies.com. Per listener request, we're kind of running through things that flew under the radar as far as films that were in production and paused, films that were canceled entirely, and so we made it up to Top Gun, which is November.
That were canceled.
People that were canceled.
No,
you see they're flying Harvey Weinstein like across country for another trial.
Yeah.
It's so hard to feel bad for that guy.
I have no feelings towards him.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a fun one. The Batman, Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Colin Farrell.
I've gone from hater to intrigued.
I've been so the people that, and I'm not saying this towards you, so don't be sad. But most of the people that when I tell them I'm looking forward to this, and they're like, "Who's playing Batman?" I say Robert Pattinson, and they go from Twilight, or whatever,
the sparkly vampire.
And I'm like, if the last thing you know Pattinson from is Twilight, you have missed probably one of the best working actors right now.
He was amazing. There was a Netflix show with Little Spider-Man, Short Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Devil's
Tom Holland.
Yeah,
the Little Spider-Man.
Well, when you're smaller than Tobey Maguire.
There was average Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire. Then there was skinny Spider-Man, which was
there was Facebook
Garfield.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Seabiscuit Spider-Man.
Emo Spider-Man, that's Garfield.
Yeah, that's right.
And then there was Tiny Spider-Man, which is Tom Holland. And my favorite Spider-Man, I'll say that, I'm not dissing him. But Toby was just too nice. Anyway, it has him and Robert Pattinson plays a creepy preacher and does it really well.
He was also in Tenet.
I mean, he's good in that role.
He was great in Tenet, which shows you he can do blockbusters. But he's been in a movie called Good Place. Or Good Time, sorry. Good Place. Good Time, which is fantastic. That's the Safdie brothers. That was their smaller hit before Uncut Gems.
Okay.
And then he was also in a movie called High Life, which is, I would say for if you're the kind of
a niche audience.
Yeah, I would say if you're the type of people that think that art cinema people wear berets, that movie's for you. Yeah, if you're not that one of those people, probably don't watch it.
That's one of the few stereotypes that's hard for me to say, oh, it's a stereotype. It's not true.
Because
I go to Sundance every year and I'm like, yep.
Well, and I love movies.
Missing only the beret.
Yeah, I love
every other part of it's true.
I love all movies, but this is one where even for this movie, I was like, okay, you're artsy. I get it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your brutal honesty. No, but the Batman...
Have you ever stuck around for a Q&A at Sundance after the film?
Yeah.
It's that. As a person. If you've made that experience into a person.
That's actually a great way to put it.
Where every question's more of a speech than
That's right. That's right. No, the Batman was supposed to come out on October 1st, 2021. I actually thought it was kind of a clever placing because I know a lot of this is... They've talked about having some stuff from like The Long Halloween, which is a series of comics, stuff like that.
Very good.
But this actually got moved to kind of the superhero window that Daredevil and Black Panther got moved to several years ago. So this will now, instead of coming out in October of 2021, this is March 4th, 2022. Now, to the listener's question, this is actually a movie that did get delayed because of illness and COVID. Pattinson himself got COVID. It was down for the count for a while.
He got pretty ill, too.
Yeah, it did. So it is. They had to stop production. There's another movie.
Speaking of Daredevil, I went back to that on Netflix. That's like the most underrated Marvel series. It's good.
Daredevil?
Yeah, and it didn't really get any attention.
Well, I mean, it got attention. People liked the series, but it got no movie love from Marvel. Which is unfortunate.
Best anti-hero ever.
Yep.
The bald guy, I can't remember his name. Anyway.
Well, I'm just going to run over a couple other ones here, just looking through a list. We already talked about Black Widow that comes out next month or on the 4th of July weekend.
And you think that'll be the big test for whether...
I think that'll be a big test,
whether movies are back. Okay.
Because that'll also, I think that might even be premiere access on Disney Plus as well. You can pay for, like $30 and watch it at home.
Okay. When does Black Widow go back? Where does this fall in the Marvel timeline? Because it's a flashback movie, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Spoiler alert: she died.
I don't know where it fits in. To be honest with you, it's a Phase 4 movie, and if you're not keeping up with the Disney Plus stuff like the Winter Soldier, the WandaVision, and then now this new series Loki. I don't know if you've watched any of that, Jason.
I watched the first episode.
I was really impressed with the first episode.
I liked it. It's not at all what you expect. For that character,
anyone
for Loki.
That's been waiting years to have Owen Wilson in a Marvel movie go, wow.
Yeah, which he does. Yeah.
Wow.
He's always Owen Wilson. But
it's great. It's good stuff.
It's so perfect for the Loki character because it has nothing to do with Thor or Asgard or any of those things. And yet it's that Loki character with all that history and betrayal behind him. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of perfect. I liked it.
Yeah.
The episode I saw.
There's some other ones here. Another movie that got postponed. You probably saw the trailer for this a bunch. Death on the Nile. This was Kenneth Branagh's follow-up as director to Murder on the Orient Express from, I think, October 2019. This was set for. I mean, this got pushed back way back. So this is actually February 2022.
Wow.
So this movie's been basically waiting. You know what I mean?
Imagine those meetings where they're like, really, is anybody in a hurry for this?
Yeah.
And even Kenneth is like, nah.
Nope. Another movie, too, was the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was originally supposed to be November 2021. That's March 2022.
And that one, the production wasn't delayed on that one, right? They were able to finish that throughout 2020.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. There was also, and I don't know
that's literally just a decision to delay the release.
And here's another one. People probably remember when Tom Hanks got COVID, and that was a big, that was right at the start of the pandemic.
Well, he was in Australia, right?
Yeah, and he was there filming with this name that not everybody probably household name, but Baz Luhrmann, who was the director of Moulin Rouge,
and that weird Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, the weird one. What they were filming there was an Elvis Presley biography movie.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Is it biopic? Is it biopic or biopic?
I think biopic. Well, let's go with biopic though.
I think biopic sounds right. Sounds more biography picture.
Intriguing.
But that was originally supposed to be 2021 November. Award season. But that got moved to June 3rd of 2022, which seems like a weird release date for a.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a musical, but it's definitely a biopic. Biopic.
Biopic. I like biopic.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, that
gives us a good idea.
There's a lot of movies. We'll talk about them as we go throughout the movie show this summer. We'll let you know what's coming. And what's been
also,
delayed.
To answer the listener's question about anything that was canceled or completely scrapped, that stuff doesn't usually get out. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anything about a movie that was planned and then 2020 comes along and they're like, nah, never mind. But if anybody does, send the news stories our way.
Well, and I should really quick before we go to the break, because then we have a few minutes to talk about something else here. There is a movie that's opened up this week. We'll talk about it a little bit more in depth next week. In fact, we're going to talk about a couple movies next week. We're going to talk about Luca.
Oh.
And we're also going to talk about, well, actually, we have quite a few movies next week, so that's one of them.
Luca looks, I'm intrigued.
We'll also come back and talk about In the Heights next week as well, the musical that's on HBO Plus or HBO Max. But if you are looking for a new movie to see this week without me telling you how wonderful it is and waiting for next week, it's Luca. It's Pixar. And it's pretty fantastic.
Looks intriguing.
I'll say that for now, and we'll save our full review for next week. But that's not in theaters. I believe that's only on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus only.
Yep.
All right, there you have it. Answering a listener requested topic of what we missed. 2020, the PR machine was shut down. A lot did fly under the radar. If you have been listening, you're now up to speed. Courtesy of Andy Morgan of AndyAtTheMovies.com. We'll be back. Andy wants to talk about a 40th anniversary that you probably forgot and are going to be very sad you did. That's coming up right after this here on KVN News for the People.
He's cared and watched out for you your entire life. Even taught you how to catch a fish and swing a bat. But now that he's in his senior years, it's your turn to care for Dad. Giving your aging loved one the attention he or she needs can be challenging, which is why there's Legacy House of Logan. From bathing and dressing to help with medicine, cooking, and housekeeping, Legacy House of Logan is your extra set of hands with an extra gentle touch on 1400 North in Logan and online at legacylogan.com. When we lost Mom, it was tough. The last thing you want to think about during a time like that are funeral arrangements. We made one call to Allen Hall Mortuary. Allen's helped us with Dad 10 years ago, so we knew we could count on them. The Allen's thoughtful service helped make a difficult time a little easier.
This is Jason Allen with Allen Mortuaries, serving Cache Valley for over 80 years. Then, now, always.
This is Jeff John, head golf professional at Logan River Golf Course. Happy Father's Day from all of us down at the river. It's time once again for our annual Father's Day sale. Punch passes and half passes will be on sale through June 20th. Half passes will make a great gift for the dad in your life. As always, we have our men's shirt sale. Buy a shirt at the regular price and receive a voucher for 18 holes of golf at $34 value, absolutely free. Logan River Golf Course. Play well, play fair, play fast.
Building a signature landscape requires design and expertise. Canyon Landscaping offers both. They've been creating, building, and maintaining landscapes for over 20 years. With a combined 100 years of management experience, their in-house landscape architecture team designs and manages each job with experienced installers who ensure a signature project. Are you ready for the yard you've always wanted? Don't wait. 752-3838 or go to canyonlandscaping.com. Canyon Landscaping. Look for the leaf.
Well, there's something about this place. Everybody seems so grim.
Well, they're just intimidated. They've only seen us on the big screen.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People movie show with Andy Morgan of AndyAtTheMovies.com. And I don't know why, whenever anyone starts talking about Tom Cruise and Top Gun, I like to go back to this little forgotten gem.
Kokomo by Beach Boys, Cocktail.
Yep.
Woo!
The Cocktail movie was a huge hit, and it was the final movie in what I call the era of Tom Cruise.
Well,
because he had that Top Gun, Days of Thunder. There's another one I'm forgetting.
It's
then
the
Cocktail.
Fluffy hair Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Action movies, excitement, and then people got to Cocktail, and they're like, nah, we're done with this.
People don't know this either, but, Jessica Dunyan, she is a cocktail bartender. She does that on the side, and she is. I've heard she's been called.
What's the phrase? The
slinging this.
I can't remember.
I've heard that she's been called the Tom Cruise of Logan. As far as so,
I'm gonna have to remember that. They should go with the Kokomo.
Woo! Anyway, so here's a cool story. So it's June 18th.
That was the best Tom Cruise. That was perfect Tom Cruise.
If I could have just got up and started running, that would have been
jump on a
thing.
couch.
Yeah. Woo!
Would you like a pamphlet?
June 12th, 1981.
See my subtle
What is that
dig at Scientology there.
What does that date mean to you?
June what? 2021?
12th, 1981. I'll tell you.
1981.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. 40 years ago.
Really?
One of the best. I would say with that, Star Wars and Jaws were the model for summer movie blockbusters.
Really?
And here's the cool thing.
40 years ago. Wow.
Next summer, you're going to be able to see another Indiana Jones movie. Indiana Jones 5. We don't know what it's called, but we know it's going to be better than The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Because why do we know that?
Because George Lucas has nothing to do with it
whatsoever. No aliens.
40 years. Go home and watch Raiders of the Lost Ark this summer.
It holds up.
This weekend.
It holds up. So does the Temple of Doom. Recently watched both.
Which is the best one?
Yeah, they hold up as action movies. All right, as you heard before the break there, a lot to talk about next week. Many new movies in theaters. A lot hitting the streaming services this week, and we'll talk about it all.